You know what? Shit happens. Life happens. So you gotta just...
Well, I want to mention that with some jobs I met other females who get in whatever you
Yeah, whatever your
police officer, truck driver,
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Emily and Raven show. I'm Raven.
And I'm Emily, and we're going to talk today. Oh, this is Haley.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, please. I brought her on the show. We met in September. We're good friends.
Yes.
No worries.
Yes, we actually met at a TIFF industry party downtown.
Yes, we did.
Which was really interesting, and we made some cool connections.
And we were talking about different things in our life that brought us stuff we've got in common over that night.
So we're going to see the movies in like I think 2 weeks at TIFF. Movie festival thing is free under 25.
Yeah,
really? That's awesome.
Last night I saw Lady Bird recently, which
I haven't
was
seen it. I gotta go and see it then.
It's nominated for an Oscar. It's incredible. It's really worth seeing. Nice. Also, 3 billboards, Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah, I think
it's so well.
Oh, and here's Eli on the way. Hello, Eli. He's walking in. I'm just introducing him before. Come in. So sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that he is late. He's making a big dramatic entrance.
Okay, let's continue.
No worries. Anyway, continuing on. So we're here to talk. You going to continue?
Yeah.
Yes, continue.
So it was a very good movie. It was very heavy, emotional, lots of life lessons, great character development. So I don't want to give any spoilers away because it's one of those movies where if you say one part you'll give away like the entire plot, but it was really well done, so I highly recommend going and seeing those movies.
Awesome. I gotta see them with you. We gotta make a time to hang out that Globe
There's
party
a few Oscar nominees and I still have a couple on my list, so
nice.
Definitely.
Well then let me know. We gotta hang out. Alright.
And I guess I should say I go to Humber Lakeshore campus for acting for film and television. So
I wanted to do that program before.
Yeah.
I never did yet.
I auditioned for it, and what happened? Oh, I know. They didn't like the fact that I had a GED. And they look at your grades differently, GED versus high school diploma.
GED's retardism.
Yeah, I know. You're a high school dropout, so you're really one to talk, aren't you? Aren't you? Just insulting.
You guys are like the perfect married couple.
I know,
but what I was trying to say, that even like going with discrimination.
Yes.
That's a big thing too. Those people, especially in the States, who all go get their GED, they're looked down upon versus the ones who actually get their high school diplomas. Here too, the same thing. GED is pretty much just like you gotta push.
And
right?
I think what infuriates me about that is that if you are willing to go and get the credits that you need, and you're a smart person, you have the drive to go and get your GED out of or get your diploma, it shouldn't matter because they're equal in equivalent to what you know and your skill set and what you're learning. And in GEDs, they actually have them at like Georgian College and other colleges. They do exactly what you would do getting like your high school diploma. So
and can I say something? Sorry, it's a well-known fact. I read this before I even started studying for my GED, that 70% of grade 12s in high school would fail the GED. That's a well-known fact.
And I believe it also depends on like who you were taught by. Some people struggle finishing high school because of a lot of different reasons.
Family problems.
You can't just discriminate and say that there's one type of person and one type of graduation certificate, because many people are better learning in many different settings, and they need different teachers, different environments, and if they don't get what's suited for them, they might have to go and take it somewhere else. So that's why the discrimination is...
Don't mind me saying it. I can just share one quick thing about myself. Eli's welcome to come in any time, by the way. I keep telling him to come in. Anyway, for me, I moved around a lot as a kid and everything. I think I mentioned this to you. Everybody knows this. And for me, so it was hard making friends, especially when you go to high school and everyone knows each other from elementary school. And, I'm not like, I had a few people that, gave me the benefit of the doubt. They were really friendly in grade 9. Grade 10 was grade 11, it just started getting worse as the years went on. And then, I actually ended up going home during lunch because I was so miserable. People would just put their backpacks and I was about to sit down. on the tables, like in Mean Girls. It's just like Mean Girls, right? When she's a new girl. I felt like Katie Heron all over again, almost, not quite to that extent.
It's Katie. It's Katie.
Yeah, Katie, where you know what I mean.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. So anyway, I just felt that way, and then in grade 11, I just decided enough is enough. You know what? I'm already going home for lunch. Why not just be homeschooled? I'm an only child, so I was used to not being around people my own age. Kids my own age, whatever you want to call it. So I just decided to go that route. My parents were supportive.
And you know what, too? After you decided to still go and do a college program, which is awesome because I find, honestly, high school is, you know, a journey, but when you actually go and do post-secondary and, like, you future benefit yourself, that's when things really start to, like sink in. Like, it starts to feel like high school was kind of, like, in the distance, and this is, like, your new path, your new journey.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think no matter how you approach it or how you get to that, as long as you're going in the right direction, or even if you just leave high school and decide that you're going to be career focused, like you might, you know, a lot of people that are very successful, I think Bill Gates,
university dropout, Avril Lavigne, high school dropout.
So many people that we look up to as icons that are really successful actually did leave school, but they've become successful in their own just by building connections. You know, you have to work for it. It's not like you're never going to have to work for it.
Of course.
It might be the more difficult route in certain situations, but people do it.
Oh, it's not impossible. So, just have a little faith.
Yeah, just like with Bill Gates, even though he dropped out, he still went back and finished his school.
Yeah, so what? It's not the be-all, end-all.
And you know what? Like, people go to do their masters and their degrees when they're older, too.
Oh, okay, sure.
I know people close to me that they started off with one thing, and then they decided later on, after having family and kids, that maybe they wanted to go back.
Right.
And they did. And, like, good for them. Like, especially when you're, like, 40 or 50 and you decide you want to go get your master's or your degree. Like, how cool is that? You have a full adult life and you're saying, I'm not going to look at this as age discrimination. I'm just going to go, and I want to go and learn more and do it for myself. So I think it's so cool when people go back to school.
My dad had to do that, actually. Accounting didn't work out for him, unfortunately. He had to go back in his 40s, go back to college and become a nurse. And speaking of that, we're going to get into gender equality and the wages in the workforce, today's workforce. That's today's topic. And I just wanted to share that nursing, maybe back in the day, was considered a very feminine career aspect. You know, doctors, you could be a man, but nurses, mostly female, right? They assisted doctors, and my dad's a nurse. So that would be discriminating against him.
Also, like, other hospital roles, like candy stripers and people that generally did, like, the on-floor, like, caring for patients, like, bringing food to patients, bringing medicine from doctors to patients was generally done by women. And then when it came down to the actual medical side of things, it was generally men. So it's nice that we've come so far in society. Now if you walk into a hospital, you have a female doctor approach you, a female pediatrician, you might have a male pediatrician, you might have a male nurse, you might have a female surgeon. Like, it's really great how it's evolved. And my mom's actually in the medical field. So
like my dad
I should have brought her because
like
she's very
dad.
passionate about this.
But so anyway, my mom's in social work. Your boyfriend's in social work, interestingly enough. And I mean, social work, a lot of people also consider that to be a female, in my opinion. I thought they considered it to be a female career. I thought.
I think when it probably, you're probably right when it comes to certain therapies. However, I do think now in society it's very balanced between male and females. I actually currently in my friend circle have female friends that are doing it, and then I have. So I think it's balanced now.
Okay, cool.
I do agree with you though with certain therapies. I think there used to be like, you know, like in the movies when the woman would put the glasses on and be like, let's talk about your marriage. Like that was always played by a female.
That's right.
So I think people would see that as, if it's a divorce counselor or marriage, it would have to be a female, right?
That's right.
But now we see a lot of males, and I think that's partly because of media. Right?
Because
media mirrors an image of what we think is out there.
It's a stereotype.
It can be blurry at times.
Stereotypical for sure. I mean, for me, I commend any females out there, by the way, if you're watching this show and you are a truck driver and you are a woman driving a big ass truck. I'm sorry, I could never do that. I would
go,
die.
girl.
I would. Gun to the head. If you do that, I highly commend you. If you are a woman police officer.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry. Firefighter. A woman do firefighter. Yeah. How they do it, I don't know. How do you do that? Like,
yeah, there's definitely, I think these jobs, there's a certain level of, well, it takes a lot of, like, there's a certain level of fitness involved. There's a certain level of, like, to get through police foundations, to get through. But I think you're right. I think generally in the past, people would probably assume that, you know, the wife would stay home and the male would go to firefighting or one of those jobs.
That's right.
But yeah, I do see a lot more women like motivated to go and do that.
Yeah.
Taking on that like fitness role.
Construction workers. I don't know how you do that. I mean, I have no muscle, as you can see.
I think it's been changing for quite some time. Like I don't think this is new. Like I think it's been changing. For quite some
70s,
time.
80s, maybe, perhaps. I guess. Yeah.
But still in movies. I'll just get back to media because that's what I know. They're still showing in a lot of movies, like, especially with there's a movie I think Only the Brave that just came out.
Okay.
They show a lot of like those firefighting type movies or those. I want to say they're kind of like manly movies, and in all of these movies, it's usually like. The wife stays at home and she deals with all the emotional baggage from his job, his career, and he's in the power role.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when you look at movies like Hidden Figures,
I haven't even heard of that. I haven't heard of that. Okay.
It is so strong to, you know, females being able to have their right to vote. Yeah. It's almost a full female cast. Like, so there is now. I want to say that I'm feeling more happy about the equality in society. I feel like, especially with, like they're really starting to kind of balance it out.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
We're taking leaps and bounds. We're not 100% fully there yet, but I think we're taking leaps and bounds in the right direction.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, anything else I can think of? I mean, firefighter, and police officer, construction worker. I mean, being a female electrician, I think would be difficult. I don't know.
I mean, I've met a lot of female engineers.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Or
like aerospace ones. No, I'm not really.
Or computer engineers. Or computer engineers.
Yeah, we see. I mean, especially, I guess at a college like Humber, you see a lot of computer engineers.
Oh yeah,
I used to go to Humber North a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Even Lakeshore too. We see a lot of them. You can see some of them were at Lakeshore too.
And also on the male to female perspective, you see a lot of like. Males also doing theater and doing things that you maybe like taking art classes or like things that you and maybe in the past they would have said maybe just a woman would paint
or a massage therapist,
right? So it's kind of both ways now. Genders are starting to be more open on either side, and they're trying things. You know?
Exactly.
So that puts I like that because. It puts an image out there for other people and motivates them that, hey, if this guy can do that, that doesn't make him lame. No. Like, maybe I could go and try that. Or, wow, if that woman really goes for it, hey, I can be a woman like that in society. So I think it really does help motivate others and inspire others to do that.
As well, female directors speaking in the industry, the entertainment industry, the Hollywood. I mean, they're finally, you know, Hollywood's wanting to welcome a lot more diversity and everything, which is good up to a certain point, which is it's always good to have a healthy balance. But, you know, they used to be unheard of in the industry, all male directors, all male producers. You know, production was mostly, I guess, male, and I guess the females are mostly actresses, you know, that were, you know, that would do the sex scenes.
Now, speaking of the industry, I don't know if you want to get into the Harvey Weinstein
we talked about that.
I think we did.
Yeah, a couple episodes
I guess we did.
So I heard today in class that I guess he's taking therapy right now.
Is he? Oh, counseling?
He's trying to heal.
Really?
He's starting to sort of come full circle and realize all the damage he did to people.
Okay.
Which is a good first step forward.
Yeah.
And I think maybe like therapy might be the right choice for him because when you can lock someone up for life, but maybe it's also good to give people a chance to realize what they've done. It's disgusting, but give them a chance to take that mental break, take that time from the industry and like really realize how many people's lives he's damaged, how many relationships, you know, he's and this might be good for him. So anyways, he recently sent an apology out
Really? Oh, wow. I
to
didn't
a
know that.
celebrity.
Okay.
Can't remember who it is right now.
Oh, I don't remember. Okay.
He sent out to her basically saying a few, like, this is way in the past. She was on set with him, and she was in a car for a scene, and it was unsafe. And she knew that the car was unsafe, and she knew that the car might crash.
Okay. Yeah.
But she was getting paid quite a bit of money.
Oh,
And so the directors and Harvey said, we're going to continue, we're going to go with it.
Oh, boy.
And she wasn't feeling 100% right about it. She wasn't safe.
Oh, okay.
But she was like, she was trusting in them.
Right.
And she ended up crashing into like a post, like really hard.
Oh,
and
no.
her legs got like strapped underneath,
Oh,
and they had to
God.
like remove
Yeah.
her legs.
Yeah.
And ever since she's had serious injury in her legs, and it hasn't gone away, and it's been years.
Oh,
Harvey recently, he also treated her nasty on set.
She could have sued. I would have sued.
I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think there was suing to some degree.
I see.
But recently, Harvey sent her a letter basically apologizing for how he treated her on set, how nasty he was to her, whatever else happened between them. This was leaked recently.
Okay.
And her response was, wow, thank you, Harvey. I can see the therapy is finally working.
Well, that's good.
And she wrote a letter basically saying, if he's willing to start apologizing, then clearly at least the therapy is something sinking in his while he's doing that therapy, and maybe he's starting to realize it's all.
He feels guilt. He has a conscience.
So at least that's a thumbs up
That's good.
for the Harvey Weinstein thing, because a lot of people are saying a lot of negative stigma around it right now. So at least we know that something good is kind of coming out of it. So.
I mean, I'm not excusing behavior like that. Don't get me wrong. I'll just put my take on it is like you're saying, it's a compassionate approach.
It is.
Instead of taking the judgmental approach, because you don't know what the guy went through growing up.
Honestly, when I first heard about all the women that he had assaulted, I thought, oh my God, lock him up. I hate him. Oh my God, kill him. Like I was so like, ugh.
Yeah.
But recently I've thought about it, and like, if he is actually willing to change, if he has gone somewhere and he's going to take intensive therapy and he's going to actually stick to it, and if something good comes out of it and it changes his character, it will take a long time for him to come back, and he might never be in the industry again.
True.
But it's the healing, I think, that matters.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was molested as a kid. You don't know that.
We don't know, right?
You don't know that. You don't know
we
what
only
people go
hear
through.
certain things in the media, but we don't always get the full picture.
You don't. It's just people judging. Humans love to judge each other. We love to not look at the wrongs in our
media
own
points
lives.
out negative a lot,
naturalization.
too.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone judges
Too
everyone.
bad. Yeah.
Media likes to, like, when you watch the news, honestly, how much of it is happy? How much of it is
It's all
depressing?
negative. It's all negative.
Because they have a system, right?
And
They
they
only
need
have
a
to give
good
you a small
story.
percentage of good stuff. Like, pretty much the chart, you got like 3/4 is all bad.
Yeah.
And then you have that one little section, world news, one little section, sports, happiness, weather, middle finger. That's how it works.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. Right.
And I think sometimes we think that the most like dramatic, depressing stories make the best news.
Yeah.
Because it allows people. I don't know what it is about society, but we tend to really get hooked on these types of stories that make us go,
I don't know what it is. We got a distraction from our own lives, I guess.
I think sometimes we think that the sunny rainbow type stories just seem not real because of what we've been around our whole life.
Yeah,
so,
could be. Yeah.
I don't know.
But anything you want to add, Ray? We've been doing most of the talking. The females have been monopolizing.
He seems like a good listener.
Yes.
Finish, you know.
Yes.
I don't know. But for me, I haven't really faced a lot of, I guess, discrimination in the workplace per se.
Right.
But
not sexism, you mean?
No, sexism. I can say it all. I worked in an all-female kitchen,
right.
so that I don't a lot of crap at that place,
Okay.
and ended up having to quit because they kept pushing me to leave
Oh,
this job.
Lord.
Right? So I left the job, and then 2 days later, the boss comes to my door, begging me to take the job. I said he'd fire everybody if I took the job back. Because he wanted to give me the chain of restaurants. He didn't have no sons or nothing, right? I was like the
You
best.
didn't have any sons, English,
Okay, let me
grammar,
finish.
yes.
I
Okay.
didn't have anyone. Right? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not coming back to a minimum wage job.
Well, I don't blame you. Good for you.
Good for you.
Right? Because
Yeah.
the thing is, like, it was like that kitchen. A few of the ladies are nice, but the main supervisor, she was just a total
so and so.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
she was just
Yeah.
annoying.
Okay.
But same with like a lot of restaurants. So you try and apply for front of house. If you're not a woman, right, most of the time you're not gonna get front of house.
Oh boy, that sucks. It's gotta be annoying.
It's true,
Yeah.
and I've worked in the industry since I was like
And
15, 16.
Yeah.
Hotels, restaurants.
yeah.
right?
Yeah, hospitality.
Even the last one I was at, same thing. None of the management, either the way it worked, none of the management were men. Maybe like 6 or 7 men, but the rest of the management, all females. Rest of all the front house agents, all female. All the customer
Oh,
service,
boy.
all female.
Right.
Like,
I feel like in today's society, a lot of these minimum wage jobs, you are just you're just another number.
Robot almost.
And with technology up and coming, a lot of things are taking over those positions. And I feel like to be really appreciated now, we need to become entrepreneurs. We need to start up our own businesses.
Self-employment.
We need to take control because so many times you're working under a boss who
That's
just
right.
takes you. And when you're gone, they might say, "Oh, come back." They realize that you were valuable. But how nice is it to be able to like do something like a radio show and say, "This is my thing every week.
Yeah, exactly.
I run it.
Yeah.
I get to put how I feel out there. Nobody tells you guys like what you can and can't say. So I think we're becoming more of a society of entrepreneurs and like starting up our own things.
Self-employment.
And that's basically because we're sick and tired of
We're sick and tired of being treated like robots.
and
people.
not being appreciated.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you can do something you love and either like get the same amount of money, then why not do something you love? I would rather be pursuing this and doing what I love and making it into a good career than doing a mind-numbing job where I'm not going to be happy and
just a
I'm not going to be
mundane job.
appreciated. Life is way
too short. Too short.
Now, however, I say that, but I know a lot of people that are doing fine and they work these jobs and they stay in them and they raise a family and they're doing. And
for them.
I'm happy for them.
Give them credit.
But I do think the world is changing.
It is. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do think it is. It's good to go and do training. It's good to go and get your education, but it's also just like good to get out there and start seeing what you can do independently.
Yeah, exactly.
On your own.
Independence. I mean,
and
just
just
what it is. Yeah.
Form groups.
Your own
and
creativity.
Just get out there, and that's why our industry is so awesome because we can just like. We could start up a podcast if we wanted to. We could write a short story and turn it into a short film. And thanks to our technology now, we can just put all that out there. And
exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of free apps to even do that, like produce your own short film and stuff.
Oh, now another thing, if you don't mind me adding in my 2 cents about the whole self-employment, not wanting to be under the thumb of somebody,
Yes.
There's a song which I love. I don't know if you guys have heard of this singer. She has the same last name as me, Sabrina Carpenter.
I've heard her because of you.
Yeah, I mentioned her. Oh my gosh.
And she came up on YouTube.
Like all the time you mention her. Like you open her laptop and all you see is
I am obsessed with her. She's a few years younger than me. She's young. Yeah, I look up to this girl. She's young.
I have some people I'm obsessed with.
Okay. Anyway, so she made this song called Thumbs. Now, I don't know if you've heard it. If I could play it right now on my phone. I don't want to be copyright of the show and everything, but she just sang, and they all just working to get paid the very same, and so they keep twiddling your thumbs. Boredom. They're just bored. It goes around a vicious cycle. She's talking about people that, you think you're going to make it up to the CEO or you think you're going to make it big to this top company.
And people do it.
Yes, but you're all of this employees working together, do the same thing, making the same amount of money.
I do also think if you are good at making connections and you can climb the ladder, that is a very good way to take a job like that and turn it into something better. It's like the glass is half full.
Right, sure.
If you really do enjoy working in customer service, try to get into management.
Yeah, true.
It works for some people, and then other people, it's easier to find different routes.
To be independent.
And I think that's what's so special about it is that we all have a different take on it. We all have a different route. So I would not judge a person that stays in one of those jobs for a long time because maybe that person that's good for them and they're happy.
Content.
They're content, and if you're content, then what's better than just being content with your life?
That's true. Yeah.
But there's other people that would say, no, I need more. I need to go and this isn't my style. I need to fulfill my dreams in some other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think we're all different.
I like the work and you know, what's the word? Work and family balance, work and pleasure balance, whatever the word
I
is.
strongly like family is like really important to me.
Yeah, or friends, family, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So friends can be like family in some instances.
Yeah.
I've experienced it. So, you know, if you're always working all the time, you can never hang out with your friends. This is why we lose connection. It's just like we don't have the time to hang out anymore. We go behind our screens, we text message each other, we don't pick up the phone, don't make the time to call people.
Found recently
I prefer to call people.
I'm a
right?
caller,
Me too.
actually,
I have
myself.
this one friend who all he does is call me, and sometimes it's about nothing. He'll call me for like 5-6 hours. He just talking, I'm just sitting there on speaker, just leaving him.
Is that the
You know
one
what?
that left the money on the train? The money
No,
on the train?
not him.
Oh, somebody else.
Hey,
Okay.
That one
Okay.
name, right? George.
Hello,
and
George Marcella.
Or George
Thanks
Marcella.
for watching.
One name. Okay, it's
Thank
one
you.
name.
Yes. Go on.
What was I saying?
Your
No,
friend?
that's a totally different person. One
Okay.
who's from Chile.
Oh, nice to
Oh, I know
meet
who
you.
that is. Okay.
Okay.
No, that's not him. The guy who left his money on the train and who
Yes, I
tends to
know.
walk around the city with like thousands of dollars in
He's
cash.
hilarious.
He's another point.
Okay.
But this man, he deals with so much sexism at work
Okay.
that they treat him like garbage for
Okay.
being clumsy and a man. His entire
Wow.
office is all female.
Oh
With
no.
the exception of I think one or two male supervisors, but
Mm-hmm.
because he's not a woman, he doesn't get the good hours, the good work.
Oh boy.
He gets all the grunt work,
Oh,
and the
no.
girls get all the food, the lunches, and he gets
Oh,
Wow.
pretty much to bend them over on the table and lube them,
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I feel
Yeah.
bad for him at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's what happens. You didn't want to go to school because he's against OSAP, but at the same time,
Wow.
he spends more money than he makes. This guy burned, $40,000 in 1 year, the year I met him.
Oh, okay.
Last year, the year before, he
Yeah.
spent like $70,000 on his girlfriend's OSAP
Oh,
tuition.
him!
Yeah.
Oh, is that the
But,
animal killer?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not the animal
Sorry,
killer.
I'm getting
No.
confused. You got so many from. Sorry. Okay,
Right,
my
this
bad.
guy, I'm like, you
Okay.
dished out like over $100,000
Yeah.
between pretty much you and your girlfriend. And you have nothing
Oh.
to show for it, but then you complain to me every day, oh, I need to get a career and stuff. I'm like, but you're not going to
gosh.
school.
I think
Right.
some people too. I have to like. I have friends that do that too, and I think that some people just don't know how to save, or they've never been told like this is how you need to manage your money.
True.
This is what you need to do
Yeah,
when
well,
you
he
get out
never
there.
knew. I've been showing
Right,
him
yeah.
since I
So it's kind of it's one of those things where they're just kind of put out there in the world,
Yeah.
and it hits them really, really fast.
Hits you fast.
And you kind of have to learn sometimes on your own.
That's
so
right.
I
Yeah.
think as long as you're always, if you're making mistakes, I think as long as
Yeah.
you're learning from them and you're trying not to do as many of the negative ones over and over again, then you're doing all right.
You're learning from your mistakes.
But yeah, I think we all come from different backgrounds. We all are raised differently.
Yeah.
Some of us
That's right.
have different levels of school, so I think we don't all know how to manage life and money
Yeah,
and savings.
it's hard.
You kind of learn as you go.
I met a lot of people who still don't know how to boil eggs.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Right.
There's
Dear.
some of my friends don't know how to cook or be on their own, but they're learning and they're trying and they're starting to get it. And I think as you go along, and especially in your 20s, your 20s is like the big time to learn.
It is.
Once you get out of your 20s, you can usually leave saying, "Hey, when I was 21, I did not know everything that I know now, and I'm soaring into the 30s with at least more to just go forward."
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I guess it depends on your situation too.
True.
Yeah.
Your background, your upbringing, whatever.
It does.
Yeah.
Some things are common sense, but then again, not everybody. I don't want to say not everyone has common sense.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Nah,
They just don't always know. You know, you might assume everybody knows how to go to school. You might assume everybody knows what a certain savings account is, but somebody might have no idea, and then you teach them, and they're like,
Exactly.
"Hey, now I know,
Now
right?"
I know. If I could just mention one thing, speaking about women, by the way. Now, I don't quite know my history well enough to have a very long speech and elaborate on this topic, but Margaret Thatcher, one of the many prime ministers
Oh,
in
God.
England.
Ding dong, the witch is gone.
Yes, ding dong, the witch is gone. Well, be thankful for Margaret Thatcher, all right? You better be thankful.
That's
You
a
better
great
be grateful.
Okay.
Thank you, dear. Lovely. Anyway, continuing on. So, Margaret Thatcher, she was one of the women who actually made it possible for people who have British mothers, like myself, to get a British passport so that we can be eligible for British citizenship.
Wow.
And I believe she started this, I think, now I could be mistaken, in the early 80s. I believe it was around 1980, I believe, and they changed the rules where they're saying 1983 onwards. They are saying that as long as you have a British mother, there used to be rules only people who have British fathers would be eligible for British citizenship. So if it wasn't for Margaret Thatcher right now, I would never be able to get my British citizenship.
Did
That's
you
all
really
I have to
guess
say.
that thing?
No, dear, I haven't had the time. You keep your mouth shut.
Okay.
Have you gotten your citizenship, your Swedish citizenship,
Holy.
Mr. Know-It-All? Anyway, enough about him. He's just jealous because he doesn't have my citizenship. Don't worry about him. He's a funny bloke. A funny bloke indeed. She loves it.
I'm a
She's
choking
cracking up.
bloke.
Yes, you're a choking bloke. You choked on your own water. Enough about that. Anyway, I just wanted to thank Margaret Thatcher. I don't think she's still alive. She passed away, I'm sure. But if she was still alive to this day and watching this show, I would be honoured to have her as a guest speaker. There we go.
That brings up a new
Yes.
question. If you could pick anybody, living or dead, to bring on the show as a guest speaker, who
Yes.
would you choose?
This
That's
question
a good question.
again. Okay.
Going back to normal accents. Oh, you go first, Mr. Bloke.
No, go. I got to think. You guys go.
All right, if you want to sort off and think, that's fine by me. All right. Well, the dead person. Let's see. I would probably, as cheesy or corny as this may sound, I would have my grandmother.
Aww.
Even though she passed away, she's not famous, but she's like an angel in my life, and she's in a better place now. She's suffering from leukemia when she went,
Oh,
and
so sorry
actually,
to hear that.
believe it or not, she could have actually lived longer, but she was in so much pain. She told the doctors, "Stop giving me my treatment. I want to go." She could have been alive to this day if she continued. She could have
She's
been.
peaceful now.
She is. She's not in pain anymore, right? She's not suffering anymore. That's the way
Yeah.
that I look at it. But that's one person. Oh, a celebrity. I gotta think. Oh, a celebrity who passed away. You
mine?
go ahead. Yeah.
Is a real person, also from a book.
Oh, okay.
Also, did not survive the Holocaust.
Okay.
I would have had Anne Frank here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's a good one.
My whole, when I was younger, I always read her diary, and
Okay.
it was obviously horrible what happened to her and her
Yeah.
family. But just like being able to sit with her and talk to her about what she went through. She was such, like, for a 12 to 14-year-old, she was 12 or 13, 14,
Yep.
she was such a knowledgeable, bright.
She was.
At 12, I was so inspired reading her and listening to her life, and not just what she went through, but the way she looked at life. She had this optimism that was so contagious. And I always try to be optimistic and as positive as she was. And she also had a situation that
Terrible.
going on around her.
Ghastly situation, just ghastly.
She was the one that made the whole family smile. She was the one that stayed strong, and like being that age and being able to keep it together that well and being able to have such a
peace.
amazing optimism to me is really inspiring. So I would have liked to bring
Did
her
you
back
see
to
her
talk to
movie?
her.
They made it in 2003, I believe it was. Or maybe it was the late 90s.
Yes.
You saw the
What,
movie where there was nudity and everything?
I think they showed us at school.
In color. It was long.
Yeah.
Really long.
It's like have you ever seen the boy in the striped pajamas?
No, actually.
No.
If you're ever interested in watching a show that really shows
The concentration camps.
the Holocaust
Oh, yeah.
and the life.
Yeah.
This was a little boy who came from a wealthy background.
Oh, wow.
And he got mixed up with a boy that was living in a concentration camp.
Oh, dear. Oh, no.
He wanted to play with him and go on the other side of the fence.
Okay.
And he got trapped in the little boy's thing. And
crap.
he ended up dying
What?
on the other side of the fence.
What?
Yeah,
That's
so it's
awful.
it's about like even maybe if you weren't from a Jewish background, you could be affected by it as well.
Okay.
Because he was
right, of course.
well, he was German.
Interesting.
But that just goes to show the severity
Yeah.
of the concentration camps.
Yeah.
The severity, like
Yeah.
two extremely innocent child, even though they were from completely different backgrounds, they both died in a where they should have never even been. So it's just very sad. It really shows you the severity of what really went on.
Yeah, like in the movie, they did it so well. They had the barbed wire at the top. I believe it was electrical. The fence was electricity, so you get shot.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
I
tried.
think he dug a hole to just play with the other kid, and they were just innocent kids. And it was awful. And you know, millions of people. And my best friend is actually Jewish. And
Carly?
Oh, my heart. Oh.
Carly, yes, hello,
And
Carly.
Hi, Carly.
Yes.
And she actually has, I think she may have had really distant relatives.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
It's just so sad to see the impact, and still today people are talking about the severity of it. It's just one of those things that never went away. But for some reason, I like studying it and learning more, because it's just like, with something like that, you hope would never, like a genocide like that, you hope would never happen again to that
Hope
severe
to
level.
God. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I heard, this is just a side note, I actually heard Hitler's grandmother was Jewish. I heard. Did you hear about that?
He has Jewish descent.
I heard
That's
that.
what
Yeah, he has
made,
Jewish descent.
that's
I
what
heard
made
that.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a good public speaker. He had a few things going for him.
Oh, yeah.
But the
Charismatic.
hate and it just overruled him.
Actually, I
He
had
committed suicide, I thought. Sorry, this is a dark topic.
Oh, yeah, he did.
But he did. I thought he did.
It.
It's shame. He must have had shame.
I think hate is one of those things. Once it comes over,
Yeah.
it does a lot of destruction.
Or he has guilt. He must have been guilty, right? Why else do that? Is the way I look at it. Yeah. You want to go on about people that have passed away? I can't think
No,
of
I was saying
tough to know
related to that is
what is mine.
I had an old history teacher back at one of my high schools. I think my second or third. I don't remember. This guy was so obsessed with Hitler. Inside his classroom, the man had pictures, had like a little, I don't know, shrine and stuff. He said he wanted to have dinner with Hitler if Hitler was still alive. Called him a genius. I'm like,
Oh, boy.
okay, man. He's my history teacher too. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to judge you, but that's very, very weird
Scary.
in that sense. I mean, and if you think about it, he did a lot of things too that weren't as bad, like the Autobahn and stuff. Okay, but
This is gonna sound bad, but it would be interesting though to sit and talk to him to understand what went on in his mind.
Yeah,
I know. I've always, when I study the Holocaust, I've always took myself back and been like, why?
Yeah.
Why? So just to sit with him and ask him why.
Psychology.
What was happening up here?
Psychology.
Why did you think it would be better for the economy? What made you? What was your process? Like, why did you think this was the way to do it?
That's weird.
He obviously, it happened, so there was obviously something ticking up there that made him do it.
Yeah,
so it'd be interesting psychologically to get in there.
People
and
thought
figure
he's a sociopath. Some people,
even if they could just somehow open up Hitler's old brain and just show you the
know.
psychological waves and figure out what was going on in there.
Yeah.
well, we're approaching the end of our show.
Quickly, can I quickly interject?
Yeah,
Princess
go
Diana,
ahead.
speaking of British, in 1997, just over 20 years ago, lovely Princess Diana passed away. And she is the one person that I would love to meet or have as a guest speaker if she was still alive.
Thank you for sharing
Princess Diana. My mother looked up to her. My grandmother, I was 3 years old. I gave away my age the day that she passed away. And I would remember being in a hospital when Princess Diana passed away. Actually seeing it on the screen. We were in a hospital for some reason. I think my mother was going to visit the doctor or my grandmother. And we saw Princess Diana passing on the TV. I remember this to this day, 97.
It's like when, totally not relatable, but when people saw Terry Fox actually running by their house and they were like, oh my gosh, they were actually there for the moment, which is really cool.
Indeed.
Okay, so now let's wrap. We have to wrap our show
Yes. Oh, book. I know she wanted to mention a book, but we don't have time. But it's okay. No worries.
I was going to just pose a question out there for the viewers. I'm reading a book called Can I Kiss You, which is it's a very amazing book. It's a thought-provoking book on relationships, intimacy, and sexual assault. And I'm going to leave you with a question. Do you think it is romantic to ask someone if they would like a kiss?
Interesting. Okay, we'll leave the show with that question. Answer your answer that question in the comments below.
That's cool.
Let's see what you guys say. We'll talk about it in the next episode.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. That's another book to check out.
And remember to follow our Frequency 5 channels on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yes.
If you have any suggestions for shows, or if you want to sponsor us, contact the station at 647-857-4454 or at frequency5fm@gmail.com.
Yes.
And you can also contact us on our social medias. My Instagram is RayNanquart31.
Mine is Emily C. Official.
And do you want to give?
Mine's Haley Nora. If you want to check it out, I'm doing acting too. So.
Okay, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye-bye.